Hey, little bird, this is Purge, and I'm bringing you guys a pro game coming out of the defense currently from today. We are going to be watching Absolute Legends versus Navi here, and it's going to be an absolutely awesome game. Everybody's been waiting for this matchup for a while, and did end up being on the, it finally came up today. It is currently Friday morning for me, and I'm pretty excited to see how this ends up turning out. Both teams very highly ranked, I believe. Absolute Legends is currently number 2 on Gosu bets, which is awesome. So they're currently number 2 on Gosu bets, and Navi is currently number 3. I believe Fire is number 1, and I haven't actually seen Fire play very much recently, which is a little sad, but it happens. So first ban coming out of Absolute Legends is going to be a Chen here, and Navi is surprisingly, very surprisingly, going to pick up a Lich. Now, Lich is a hero that hasn't been seen, at least in banning or picking, in quite a while, and this is kind of because the push metagame has been more popular lately, and Lich isn't very good at shutting that down. Lich is great against shutting down hard carries and also using Chain Frost. So this makes me think that Navi is just throwing wrenches into the engine, so to speak, trying to mess up things, do it a little differently, and probably pick a hard carry. Now, Absolute Legends goes for the really smart option, and they will pick up the Anti-Mage, because if Anti-Mage would have made it through with Lich being banned, Lich is a pretty good counter to Anti-Mage because of the Frost Armor and because of the sacrifice. But by doing that, Navi's going to pick up Invoker, and I'm expecting to see Dendi play him, and Dendi is a very, very good Invoker player, so this should be pretty awesome. First 2 pickups by Absolute Legend is a Nature's Prophet as well as a Windrunner, and now we have 2 more picks coming from them. From Navi at least. Possible support heroes coming, maybe a Venomancer or something like that seems to be pretty powerful and pretty well liked, that's for sure. Venomancer, of course, for his pushing and counter pushing, but they're going to pick up a Sand King. Sand King also has very good stats lately, and they're going to go for the second best jungling hero. They're going to go for an Enchantress, which is going to give them a little bit of semi-carry as well in the early to mid game, or in the mid to late game, that is. Once you do get that impetus from Enchantress, it just, man, you can hit so much harder than a Chen would normally in a team fight. She doesn't have as many support abilities and not as many disables generally, but she's still not to be taken lightly, especially when Puppy's gonna be playing him. He is currently right here. PIOS is Puppy. I don't know what that's an acronym for. He changes his name a lot, just like pretty much everybody else. Man, this game is gonna be freaking epic though. Absolute Legends versus Navi. Holy crap. Absolute Legends gets another pick here. I'm expecting to support on them, maybe Venomancer, maybe Tidehunter. It's kind of hard to say. They do have an Invoker, which is going to be the main thing they're going to have to worry about, but they do pick up a Shadow Shaman. I like this as well. Shadow Shaman is a hero that has been seeing a lot of play lately because he is so good. Soloing the mid on Shadow Shaman, hitting level 6, ganking a side lane, and pushing that tower down if possible. That's what I'm expecting to see. I think Enchantress is going to be a little worried about this because Shadow Shaman does have a lot of nukes and disables. Some stuff like that can generally burst her down. It won't be easy though. And 2 bans coming, Dragon Knight coming out of Navi. I actually got my hands on some really cool statistics last night. I didn't have time to look them over quite yet, but one thing I noticed was there were a couple stats. It was like stats from all of the major Dota 2 tournaments pretty much. And what ended up happening was Dragon Knight's gold per minute when he lost and gold per minute when he won were very, very similar in comparison to all the other hard carries. So I thought that was very interesting. I think Anti-Mage had the highest gold per minute at like 700 or something ridiculous whenever he won. And Dragon Knight was like 480 when he won and 400 when he lost, whereas Anti-Mage was like 700... 350 or 700, 500 when he lost. So the range is much closer, which makes you think that Dragon Knight actually is, if he gets free farm, he's not as big of a deal, which reflects what common sense would generally say. So I'm gonna have to look at that data a little bit more. It's very, very interesting stuff to look at. So there's some more bans coming out. Absolute Legends also going to ban a Venomancer, and then we see a slightly unusual Bounty Hunter pick out of Navi. Now this makes me think that for sure Navi is going to be playing a Broodmother, almost guaranteed here. Bounty Hunter does see play sometimes as like a semi to hard carry. He's very good at ganking. You can get up a couple core items. Probably he would have hypothetically wanted a Black King bar to fight against the Sand King and the Invoker, but I think that's why Navi ended up banning him. Radiant team is going to be able to solo the Windrunner on the top lane, no problem. Shadow Shaman in the mid, and probably put Nature's Prophet in the jungle, but if they could have picked up, if Navi wants to pick up a Broodmother, a Gondor would have been a nice counter and could have fit into AL's lineup here. Just could have given him a dual lane or a roaming support lane, something like that. But Absolute Legend is going to ban out a Vengeful Spirit. Navi has been playing Vengeful Spirit moderately common at least. So I'm not too surprised about that. I think that's a worthy ban. I'm still expecting Navi to pick up the Broodmother possibility. The only downside is they're kind of running out of support. Or running out of solo lanes. Sand King most likely going to be played as a solo. That's how we've been seeing him played the last couple weeks. It's possible he'll do a roaming, but more likely that he is going to be doing a solo lane.
Reserve time.
And who are they going to go for, man? I know they're thinking about Broodmother. If they ban out the Gondar, I'm expecting that to be the... Well, you know what? Gondar also counters Sand King, so that's something I did not mention before that I should have. And 50 seconds left on the clock. Most likely going to go for support. Could do something like a Tidehunter, which is not a bad hero against Nature's Prophet, Shadow Shaman, Windrunner. Very good against all those heroes. Tide's seen a little bit less play recently. Yeah, somebody in chat, I have seen them say that Navi is landing together in Kiev. At least they are currently for this tournament. So they will go for the Night Stalker, who is still in the pool. I think that's very smart. I don't know why I forgot about him, but Night Stalker, one of those really, really good heroes. And the problem here with what Navi did is they banned that Lich out right off the bat to make things kind of weird. So no Lich in the pool means that Night Stalker or some other heroes squeak on through. So Night Stalker will be put onto Navi's team. This could be a problem for Absolute Legends. Night Stalker very good against a lot of those heroes. Nature's Prophet, Shadow Shaman, Windrunner. He's very, 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 very aggressive and good. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to play him on Navi. I don't think I've seen them play or draft Night Stalker that often. Usually they stick to some different heroes. But could be really sweet. And we have a minute left for Absolute Legends. But the fact that Navi is taking this long to pick is very surprising in some ways. Maybe not surprising, but makes me think that they're not quite sure, obviously, what they want to go for, which is probably reflected by what we just saw. So, Absolute Legends has their next pick coming. They're also looking for a support hero, a little bit of drawing on the map to break the tension by Risk. But I'm so excited to see this game, and it's gonna be a best of 3. But they're gonna go for a Spectre here, going for a hard carry. A little surprising. Spectre hasn't seen a lot of play recently. Hypothetically could have been something like a Faceless Void, but I think Spectre is very smart. Going to be a lot more survivable against the enemy players, mostly for the fact that if Faceless Void gets silenced or he loses all of his mana, both possibilities to Invoker, he's going to lose his mana there. Night Stalker can silence. Chain Stun's possible from maybe Sand King or some Cold Snap, something like that. But Faceless Void would have a tougher time until he gets his HP up and his damage up a crap load. The early games can be a little rough, and this way Spectre can just kind of be tanky. If you just get a Vanguard and maybe like Power Treads or something, you're tanky enough where even if you lose your mana, it's not a huge deal. You're not living and dying by your mana pool, kind of like Void sometimes is. So I think that's pretty smart. Spectre hasn't seen a ton of play recently, but it's definitely still possible. And Navi's last pick is going to be a Crystal Maiden here. And that's going to give them a lot of mana, that's for sure. That's going to be great for Invoker, it's going to be great for Sand King, it's going to be great for Night Stalker. Enchantress doesn't need that as much, but maybe she'll go for Power Treads instead of Arcane Boots. It's a possibility. I don't know if I'm going to expect it for sure, but we'll see. And Crystal Maiden, just a generally good roaming support, man. That Disable is quite good. So I'm expecting, I think AA is the one that's been playing supports for Navi. I expect Puppy to be on the Enchantress. Dendi, I'm assuming, is going to be on Invoker, and then Light of Heaven, I'm guessing Sand King, and then Havas is going to be playing the Night Stalker. That's my assumption for Navi. I'm not quite as familiar with AL's playstyles, other than I know Godot does jungling usually. Stuff like that. Black Shaitan surely going to be playing Spectre. Risk probably on Windrunner. And they're going to go with their typical... This is like their signature support here, man. They play Dazzle very often. It's not very surprising to see this at all. They're one of the few teams that actually drafts it very regularly. The only downside to this is that they do have a Night Stalker, so throwing Fear on him every team fight's going to be rough. But I expect Dazzle to get Arcane Boots. I expect Shadow Shaman to get Arcane Boots. I'm expecting Windrunner to get Phase Boots. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot Ventrilo was on. Alright, and here we are, into the game. For the Radiant team, Absolute Legend Musica is going to be playing the Shadow Shaman here. We have Godot on the Windrunner. Risk is playing Nature's Prophet. Black Shaitan playing the Spectre. And finally, Snoopy is going to be playing the Dazzle. And for the Dire team, Navi, Crystal Maiden being played by AA. Dendi is on the Invoker indeed, and Havas is going to be playing Night Stalker. Puppy is on the Enchantress, and Light of Heaven is on the Sand King. So I believe I called that correctly. Yes, I do believe so. And it's going to be pretty interesting. This is a pretty typical starting Invoker item build recently, just to get the Blades of Attack, so you get a lot of last hitting power early. You aren't as tanky, you don't have as much stats this way, but it allows you to get the last hits, which is actually pretty important because his base damage is quite crappy. Sand King with a Stout Shield. He really likes that name. Enchantress in the jungle. Looking like that at least, with some ganking on Smoke of Deceit. Very good starting items on Puppy. One salve as well. He's going to be making a Basilius, probably for some pushing, surely. And the Radiant team did get their ward off. Both teams got their ward off, so they're pretty happy. And apparently that's going to be imperative. Do they have sentries? Yes. The Radiant team does have sentries, though, which means if the Dire does not have sentries, that means that the Radiant team's going to be able to, or not going to be able to pull. Or, I mean, okay. Dire team will not be able to pull here. This ward's going to be up no matter what. And that's going to make a pretty good laning situation for Risk, who's actually going to be playing the Nature's Prophet on the top lane. Very surprising. What is Windrunner playing support here? Where is Windrunner? Windrunner is actually going to be playing support. A little surprising. They do know that ward was placed, so I'm assuming they're going to actually show up. Or are they going to bring the sentries up there? I don't know. They could possibly if they really wanted to, but at the very least they know where the ward is, so that's a pretty big advantage. They just have to know that they need to smoke past that point or ninja around. And it looks like Puppy is going to be going for a level 1 gank here. He does have the illusions up. They're very, very good for tanking towers at early levels. We'll see if he goes for it, but it does look to be a Shadow Shaman supported by a Windrunner on the mid lane, and they're going to be laning against the Crystal Maiden and the Night Stalker. So that's pretty smart. Usually what we see is a Shadow Shaman gets outlaned by a Night Stalker plus a support hero. And this way, at least, there's another hero that can do ranged attacks, which is going to put the advantage back in the Shadow Shaman's favor. So interested to see how that goes. Sentry Ward gets dropped. There's the D ward, and now coming around to do a little bit of damage to Sand King. Sand King gonna have a little bit of a rough time here. Very, very unlikely that he would get a kill against the Spectre with a little bit of Dazzle support. Dazzle's gonna run around to the back. He's got a Shadow Wave at level 1, and here comes some harass on Light of Heaven. He does have his invisibility, but Snoopy just gonna do quite a bit of damage here to him, and he does have a Stout Shield at least. So, wow, did he block a lot of damage there? Pretty nice item pickup there. But so far, I'm gonna argue. We have Radiant team advantage for lanes, Absolute Legends teams, or lanes at least. This is mostly for the reason, I think top lane is going to be won by Dendi, no problem at all, because he does pretty much have free farm first of all. It's on a difficult lane, so that means the risk is very far forward here. And the rest of the lanes are looking good for Absolute Legends though. I'm a little worried for Navi on the mid lane here, and bot lane obviously not going to be won by Sand King. And Spectre is going to get free farm, and if Spectre gets his Vanguard Relic and Radiance or whatever, things are looking really rough for the Dire team. They don't really have any hard carry potential at all, so they have to either gank like crazy here or push well, and their only pushing hero is Enchantress. Unless Dendi ends up going for a Quas Wex build, something like that, so or a Quas Exhort build. Here comes the first gank on the bot lane. There's a Sentry Ward. They see him, nice! Very easy, very good pickup there for the Radiant team. Does Spectre back up? Spectre's not backing up. He's not backing up. He's now backing up now. He doesn't have a dagger for 3 seconds. The stun's going to miss from Light of Heaven. Huge mistake. He should have just been patient, man. Could have gotten the disable off, and Black Shatan's going to try to run through the trees, but the slow is ridiculous. I love the tornado. It's giving vision on Black Shatan. He gets trapped into the jungle. That is rough, man, and that's going to be the first blood. I thought they were pinging. Man, I thought for sure he was going to get backed up. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or what, but holy crap, man. They ran right past the Sentry Ward. That gives vision only if they look there, and I guess they didn't have any vision there. They might have caught him just barely here, but probably not. So if the gank ends up coming off, I probably overstated the knowledge of them coming for the gank. So there's a double damage on the Windrunner. Are they going to get a shackle? No, he did not attempt for it. Havast, it is daytime, so he knew that he was there. Enchantress now in the jungle, looking around a little bit. A little bit of chase coming from Spectre now. He's going to go back to laning though. Let's check some CS totals while everything is still pretty low-key. 12 CS for the Spectre. We have 12 on Night Stalker, 10 on Invoker, 5 on Sand King. Looks like Enchantress wants to gank the mid lane. Also Shadow Shaman at 7, 9 on Nature's Prophet, 2 on Windrunner, and 2 on Dazzle. So if we look at the gold totals, I'm sure that Navi's in the advantage, but it's only about first blood amount, about 500 gold. And as you look at this little graph, this is important. This little upswing coming on the graph means that the farm potential is coming back towards Absolute Legends, despite that they did feed first blood. Holy crap, dude. That's a triple stack. That is a dead creep wave, unless he mispulls a little bit. Had one extra melee creep sneak by. There's a stun on Black Shaitan, and now Enchantress coming. There is the disable. He gets stunned as well from the Centaur, and that looks really bad for Spectre. Spectre not having a good time here. Dazzle not in position. He was just pulling, and he keeps getting ganked. They need a ward up or something, man. Spectre is literally their vitality in this game, and if they can just keep Spectre alive, they will win it. So Absolute Legends really, really needs to make sure that he stays alive, man. This is a big deal. So he does go down a second time. Back down to 300 gold. He literally hasn't been able to farm anything past that, unfortunately. Good coordination with last hits. And Light of Heaven now level 4 with boots on him. Top lane, a little bit of damage. Yeah, it looks like they're going to need a kill off on a risk. Crystal Maiden coupled with Dendi. They just, you know, Navi just has such stronger laners in the early game. Nature's Prophet, not a good hero for laning, really. It's really not that strong. He's going to get a lot of experience by doing this, but with a little bit of effort coming out of a Crystal Maiden and a cold snap from Dendi, that's an easy kill there. He's going to TP back to lane, though. Continue his laning process, but still a tough time. Not going to be easy doing this. And Windrunner now in the bot lane, up to level 3. Looks like they decide that she needs to support the Spectre because he keeps getting killed here. Musica once again soloing now against the Night Stalker. Night Stalker being really aggressive. It's not even nighttime and he's being aggressive like this. He's actually in a little bit of trouble maybe. He's going to survive there. Pops his salve to heal up. He actually has a regen rune on his bottle as well. Very nice to have. And it looks like Puppy is in the jungle now. 2 levels of enchant. Probably some clarities. Yes, a clarity potion and a Soapy Mask. That's going to make his Ring of Bacillus here and help him keep his mana pool up. Here comes the gank now on Musica once again. Is he going to chain disable here? He's almost dead. Is he going to die to Crystal Maiden? It's going to be close. He does go down. Late TP from Risk there. And Navi just dominating lanes right now. 4-0. It doesn't matter if Absolute Legends has better push and better late game if they can't just win their lanes, basically. And that's kind of their problem here. They really don't have any kill potential on the bot lane. They had a lot of survivability, but the ganks kept coming. And Risk not doing good on the top lane. Well, then he gets free farm. He's got his phase boots finished already. So he's pretty much going to last hit everything else for the rest of this lane. And Nature's Prophet has to be so careful. He has 0 disables pretty much against Invoker. Invoker has 1 Tango left. So even if he does sprout on Invoker, Invoker is just going to eat that Tango and continue the chase. So not looking good for Absolute Legends here. Their lane's just not going quite as well as they could. Navi Havas is going to hit level 6 here. Popping his ulti, it is nighttime. Wards are going up at the 6-minute mark. Very, very nicely done by Dazzle. He's going to pick up this haste rune, or at least cover it for Musica. Enchantress going for another gank now. He does have an Ursa Warrior. On the bright side, though, Night Stalker is going to go check for this, but not going to find it. And there's a ward up, so now they know exactly where the Night Stalker is. Is Night Stalker going to look for a gank? If he is, they're going to be ready for it and possibly going to defend against it. Windrunner still level 3, though. Musica being a little aggressive on the mid lane. He's going to take some nukes. Nope, Night Stalker not going to go for it here. The gank on the top lane, is it effective? Yes, sorry about that. Enchantress comes in with the Ursa 5-0 swing for Navi currently. Just absolutely destroying with their gank potential.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And the Spectre does have his Ring of Health finished. He is a level 5 hero. 2 levels of Dispersion. No Desolate quite yet. He is getting his last hit. So Sand King going to spot a couple neutral creeps. He's going to do a Shadow Wave trying to do aggressive. But the top tower taking some damage just from an Enchantress. And a Invoker. Invoker almost out of mana, though. And there's a gank on the mid lane. Shadow Shaman now goes down to the Night Stalker. Crystal Maiden 6-0 swing currently. Not looking good for Absolute Legends in the first game. This is a best of 3, by the way, guys. So there will be more games after this, despite how this one turns out. So up to 3 games possible here. Spectre's still farming it up. He's got 480 gold currently. Possible gank coming once again. AA is in position with the Crystal Maiden. Doesn't even have a single aura. Very interesting. 3 levels of Crystal Nova. Here's the gank coming. There's the Cold Snap, and that's it for Risk. No chance of him surviving this. He knows it. Wow, really rough game for him so far. Just perfect ganking coming out of Navi. Crystal Maiden around the back. Just uses a single Frostbite level. He's just going to max these 2 skills out. Doesn't have any arcane aura. Just using his abilities to gank. And Puppy doing an awesome job here, tanking up with his heal. And going to tank the tower as they take it out. So top tower falls. Possible gank on the bot lane. No, Musica is going to try to TP out. Or Snoopy is. Is he going to make it? He does make it. Nice play there by the Dazzle. Pops the grave. TP's out. There was no void up for Night Stalker apparently, so not able to grab that. But he does have Power Tread's wand and an urn. No bottle on him, but very, very dangerous ganking potential here. Mid lane now being pushed by Absolute Legends. Shadow Shaman dropping his wards. Is it going to be enough, though? Night Stalker grabbing an illusion, so this could be quite dangerous. He doesn't have a ton of HP, is the only downside for him. but they will be able to clear out the creep wave and do a little bit of tower damage. The wards are going to die shortly, though. Only losing one so far. There's the illusions coming through, doing a little bit of damage to Shadow Shaman. They know Night Stalker's around, but they know his HP is low as well. Crystal Maiden coming through the back. Is she going to get a big ulti off? There it is, 150 damage done. TP's coming in. Somebody's going to die, probably. No mana on Crystal Maiden. The stun's going to miss on Windrunner. And Night Stalker does kill Shadow Shaman, but the tower does get destroyed by the wards, which is a nice little bit of advantage. Something that Absolute Legends absolutely needed here. And Dendi continuing to destroy on the top lane. Bracer with that Robe of the Magi. Things are not going good for Absolute Legends. Another stun from the Sand King to go on the high ground. He has his Arcane Boots finished, which looks really good for him. And where is Black Shaitan going? I think he's going to go farm on the top lane now. He still does not have his Vanguard, 9 minutes in. Not going to be the latest Vanguard ever, but not the best situation you want to be in. Drums of Endurance finished for Dendi now. And he is, of course, going for the Tornado EMP Invoker build. It's by far the most reliable and nastiest in a teamfight situation. Dazzle and Nature's Prophet jungling now. And Musica going to be a little aggressive. He's going to grab his Arcane Boots now. He does have 1,000 gold. I'm expecting Arcanes at least. And there they are. It's going to boost up his mana pool by 250, I believe. Yep, and give those allies the very important mana heal that they're going to need in these upcoming teamfights against the Invoker. He does have a Cold Snap Tornado queued up. See if he does any harass to Black Shaitan. And back on the bot lane, Puppy being aggressive. He's got his Arcane Boots up as well, level 6 with the Ring of Basilius. Crystal Maiden, just boots in position in case anybody ends up coming to this lane. They are going to find the Invoker, though. Are we going to see the Shackle? There's the Shackle. We're going to see a Hex immediately afterwards. But I don't know if it's going to be enough disables. He will do a Cold Walk eventually. And there he goes. He does go invisible. Is there no dust? There's 0 dust on the Radiant team. They go to gank the... Well, maybe they didn't intentionally gank the Invoker, but on the bright side, they did make him spend about 240 mana there. 40 for the Invoke and 200 for the actual cast. He's going to immediately go right back to last hitting while Navi takes the bot lane easily here. Just going to block the creep wave. Night Stalker gets the last hit. He's got his Vitality Booster finished. We'll see if he finishes a Vanguard. He might just pick up the Vitality Booster and go straight for an Aghanims. Not quite sure. Snoopy has his Poison Touch mostly maxed out. I expect him to leave this on 3 levels. It does apply the maximum amount of slow at level 3. Doesn't do quite as much damage, but that's okay. And Navi now looking to take the bot tower as well. How that ulti from Nature's Prophet was beastly. Enchantress will get a little healed up here. Going to heal up the Crystal Maiden and himself, but they're going to be able to take this tower, and there's nothing that Absolute Legends can really do about it. There's such a gold advantage for Navi, and their ganking dive advantage is really big as well. And this just shows you guys, like, you don't need 4 pushing heroes to do a push lineup. All you need to do is have really strong laners, take an early advantage, and then use your 1 pushing hero to take that out. And they're going to even pressure Arax here. Tower is taking damage, man. Absolute Legends completely out of position. There's the TP from Shadow Shaman. Maybe they just didn't expect them to go for it, but Tower already taking 400 hits. Crystal Maiden will teleport out. He's got a Medallion of Courage, fast Medallion on AA here, with max Crystal Nova, almost max Frostbite. It's going to be such a big deal in those early game team engagements that are going to keep Crystal Maiden alive against heroes like Spectre, so very excited to see how this turns out. He's got to pick up his aura eventually, right? Right, guys? Come on. Not a build that we usually see on Crystal Maiden, but very interesting. We have seen less and less auras from Crystal Maiden in the future, or recently, but not getting any levels at all is uncharacteristic, but I still think it's a pretty smart play. As long as all of your other heroes get enough mana for it, what's the big deal? Here's a Cloak picked up on Night Stalker. Maybe he's going to go for a Vitality Booster into a Pipe. Against this lineup, I'm guessing no, but keep his HP up is definitely always going to be a good thing. The Cloak by itself is going to give him some nice survivability against heroes like Shadow Shaman. Crystal Maiden maybe looking to bait out something. There's the AoE. God, the damage on Godot was ridiculous there. Disabled now on Musica, and there's another disable. Is Musica going to survive? I think he will, but the Chen comes on through. Wow, I mean the Enchantress, and just cleans up with the Sand King. Getting 3 kills. Risk does teleport in, but no chance of him surviving now. 12-0. This is not good for Absolute Legends. This is the point where the game gets unattainable. At this point, when they have this much of an advantage, the snowball effect is pretty much gone. They're going to take these 2 mid towers, they're going to take the top tower, and then they're going to end Arax, and Absolute Legends is going to call good game. There's literally very, very little coming back from this point. Navi playing just so well here, not making any mistakes at all. Such good supporting by Crystal Maiden. He's got a wand and a bracer now with another TP scroll just to boost up his HP. Night Stalker does get the last hit. He's up to 1,600 gold now. And the AoE gets, or the The creep wave gets cleared once again. Level 8 Crystal Maiden, still no Arcane Auras. Maybe next level, just maybe. And what does Dendi have? He's going for a Yule Scepter, 600 gold on him. He's going to be able to keep the Spectre in the air, even hypothetically, in the random situation that Absolute Legends actually does pick up something like a Radiance. It's going to be very nice. If Spectre's chasing against your weak support heroes, there's not a whole bunch you can do, but being able to just Yules him in the air for 2.5 seconds is going to make a big impact. So, Black Shaitan on the bot lane now picks up a TP scroll. Looks like Sand King TPs to the bot lane to stop the push, and Invoker picks up another kill. Finding a Shadow Shaman. We're going to see a heal by Puppey, but they did actually not dive on them, so a little bit of a waste there. But that's okay. The two heroes will be healed up as a result. Tornado is in position. They have a brand new Wildkin, and that's just about to run out, so Tower once again taking some damage. Puppey tanking a little bit of a mistake, but he's fine. He does actually have a headdress. He's going for a mechanism, not a very common Enchantress item, but it's not that bad, honestly. If you get the mana for it, which you usually do with Arcane Boots, you can pop that heal and play a little bit more of a general. But here comes the TPs coming in. Shackle Shot's not going to land. Shadow Shaman will get a disable off. He drops wards, but the nukes on him are just ridiculous. There's the Grave as well. And he gets the Shackle off, or does he grab a creep? I'm not quite sure. But Voss looking to be in a lot of trouble here. Are the slows going to be enough? They need another slow. Here comes the Poison Touch. There it is. That could be it for Night Stalker. First kill, second kill for Absolute Legends. Yes, they get it, and the Shackle Shot on Enchantress. Enchantress in trouble now. Are they going to get more disables off? Dazzle with no mana left over, and I don't think they're going to be able to get her. They don't have the nukes for it. The disables are not enough, and Enchantress will actually make it away. Top tower goes down to Invoker, though. Dendi picking that up, and there's his Yule Scepter finish. His mana regen is going to be wonderful for the rest of the game. He's sitting on his Quas to heal on up, but not a huge loss there for Navi. They lost 2 heroes, they get a tower. And when they have this much of an advantage, they don't care, man. 10,000 gold, 12,000 gold coming up here for Navi, and they don't, this game is extremely well won for them. There's still a big chance that Spectre could come back, but he would need his Radiance about now, and there's no reasonable reason for him to have that anytime soon. More Poison Touch coming for Sand King. He's pretty much fine, though. He does have a Vanguard, which is going to keep him survivable. And they're definitely not going to get this kill, though. Dazzle has no mana, so no more casts coming out of him. And Navi moving into a slight... Are they going to keep pushing up? Probably going to do so. It looks like Puppey's going to grab the Centaur and the Wildkin and swing back towards the mid lane. It's going to give them an Armor Aura and an Attack Speed Aura. And then you're going to keep getting some last hits here. We'll see what he goes for next. Probably going to be his Sheep Stick. Or, I'm sorry, his Aghanim Scepter is what I meant to say. Probably going to pick up his Point Booster at this point. And they may just actually pick up Roshan here. And throw the Aegis on maybe Night Stalker, maybe Invoker. I'm going to expect probably Night Stalker. He's a little bit less survivable, I guess. If he does get Shackle Shotted and a couple other big nukes, that could be huge for him. So they're going to take the Roshan now. No way that the Radiant team can contest this. They did even put on a Sentry Ward to make sure that they didn't know about this. Crystal Maiden at 1,000 HP, so tanky. More tanky than the solo mid Shadow Shaman. Was virtually nothing here, and I think Absolute Legends might be realizing, no, they don't know what's going on. Windrunner doing some power shots, but that is not going to give them some vision. There's another Sentry Ward. Sentry Ward gets placed by another Radiant hero, and I think they may know at this point. Are going to be able to take out an Observer Ward at the police, but which one will they grab first? It's going to be the Sentry Ward. Can they get the Observer Ward? No, they have to run away now. They got the Sentry, so they can come back and get this later, at the very least. Very, very good decision making. Some people would definitely get a little short-sighted or tunnel vision on those. Once you see those wards, man, you're like, oh god, I can get the ward. But they back up. Good play by the Dazzle Godot, I believe. So dangerous to go for stuff like that. It's hard to make those decisions, but you have to. And Shadow Shaman now pushing the lane. I think Navi might have a little issue with pushing. They have so many pushing heroes. Shadow Shaman. So many counter push heroes. Shadow Shaman is a great counter push or push. Windrunner is a great counter push. Dazzle is going to be a great counter push as well. He's got his ultimate. He's got his heal. Nature's Prophet will be able to spawn Treants. So I think it's going to take just a little bit more farm here on Navi before they can win a big team fight uphill. Maybe like an EMP Tornado with a Blink ulti from Sand King would be huge for them. They could probably win it there, but last tower drops in. Are they going to go straight for it? They do have the Cobalt Taskmaster, and they're coming up the hill. There's the Treants spawning. It's going to stop a lot of damage from creeps. Power Shot comes through, only hits the Crystal Maiden. There's the heal trying to do some offensive damage, but the damage coming out of Navi could be a little higher. Ulti from Nature's Prophet comes through, and there's the minus armor casted the Weave from Dazzle, and Navi is going to back up for just a second here. They're going to have to wait about 12 seconds for Weave to run out, and then they're probably going to continue their push. Another power shot coming through, lowering down Light of Heaven's HP, but he does have the Aegis, so pretty big point. It looks like Spectre does get the bot tower. He does have his ulti to initiate, so it doesn't even matter. He can keep pushing this, he can keep farming, and he can always just teleport back or use Haunt to get back as well. This one's Haunt. No, that's Reality. Haunt and Reality, there we go. Oh man, Musica getting completely out of position there. He's not going to get his Tornado off. Is he going to drop the wards? No, he gets silenced. There's the ulti, or the disable, the Grave on Musica to keep him alive. He does drop the wards. Light of Heaven probably going to go down, but that's just an Aegis, no big deal for him. Pretty big mistake by the Shadow Shaman, getting that out of position. That was a big mistake, man. Got that close to them just to drop a nuke. Got stunned by Light of Heaven. That's exactly what Navi needed. And now they're going to be able to take the tower and the racks, so... pretty big mistake. The Grave was not able to save him. Navi will take out the Rex. Got some more items coming. Not really sure Night Stalker has a Vanguard finished. He is so tanky. There's the Weave. Is it going to matter? Tornado EMP coming. Just using the Ewels on Windrunner. Windrunner can't cast anything, and Dazzle drops immediately. Now going after Spectre, and I'm going to expect a good game from Absolute Legends any second here. There's the TP support coming, but man, the damage is too high. Musica looking for a kill. He will get the Shackle. That was weird. But I'm kind of surprised he didn't end up. Havas tanking out the tower a little bit. They still haven't taken the middle racks. It is daytime now, at least, but the racks will fall. More nukes coming. And the range barracks is going to go down as well. There it goes. First Rax falls. I guess Absolute Legends isn't going to give up. They do have the late carry, which is a good reason for them not to give up. I mean, they're at 2k gold. They will get the Radiance eventually. I mean, it's not necessary for them to... I mean, I did discount them a little bit. Usually when we see a 1 Rax going down on a game that is this one-sided, we usually see the team's just good game. But, you know, they do by far have the late game over Navi. So if they can just tank it out, if they don't lose another Rax, I think they could still win this, no problem. Well, maybe not no problem. That's a little... I think that's a little exaggerated. No problem at all. But Invoker going to pick up a Staff of Wizardry. We'll see if he gets a Force Staff or starts towards that Aghanims. He does still have his wand here. Light of Heaven now pushing the bot lane, but he has a Blink Dagger, so that's even more dangerous now. In these upcoming teamfights, Dazzle's going to help out Risk in the jungling, taking out some Ancient Creeps. There's some dust on the ground as well, but Risk really not farmed as well, just power treads. Not sitting very good. And Snoopy dropping some unusual Observer Words. I think he's looking for the spot. Yes, he is. It's kind of a cool spot for this. This is in case they want to push the top tower, since there is still 1 tower up. This will give them vision of this area. They might miss any heroes swinging this way, swinging right past the ward vision, but anybody coming from this way or through the jungle is going to give them vision. So it's a pretty cool ward. Very, very unlikely to get that dewarded as well. And the other cool part is that this Observer Ward is going to be spotting runes, so it doesn't actually overlap. If you put one here and one here, that would be a waste of a ward. So very cool ward in there by Godot, or Snoopy, sorry. And the push coming on the bot lane. Havast is doing damage to the tower. Light of Heaven going to back up just a little bit. He has a cloak now. Everybody on Navi just tanking up so much. It's going to be so tough to pick them off. And is it going to be an Aghanim Scepter on Invoker? Alright guys, let's watch Dendi have a good time until this game ends. It's going to get ridiculous here. And here comes the push. Night Stalker has his hood finished. He is so tanky. He doesn't even get the Aghanim Scepter. And he's just going to roll up and hit the tower. We might see a Shackle on him, but he will back up now. And it is nearly nighttime. He's not using his ultimate. A little bit of a mistake, but not a huge deal. There's a Sentry Ward down by the Dire team, I believe. Kind of hard to tell. Dagger comes through. It's going to hit Light of Heaven and Dendi. Casting is going to be ridiculous. He's got 2 Exhorts currently. Not leveling up his Quas any higher. A little interesting. Power Shot going to clear a little bit of the creep wave, but this is not looking good for Absolute Legends. This Rax falls, man. There's the mech. First nuke's going down. Shackle Shot not going to land. Stun from the Sand King. EMP Tornado going off as well. Dendi getting ready to cast. He's going to do an Ice Wall. That's going to be it for Snoopy most likely. He will Grave here a little early though. AA taking some damage. Windrunner also getting hit hard. Spectre is going to maybe get a kill. No, he's not going to get the Crystal Maiden. 1 hit away. He's still chasing on him. He wants the dagger kill. Maybe he'll be able to get the Enchantress as well. I think he's going to possibly clean up. It's possible, man. He might get these kills. No, he's taking too much damage now, and hits from the low guard. There's the ulti from Light of Heaven. That's it for Black Shaitan. Black Shaitan goes down. Another ice wall going down from Dendy. So nasty, using the EMP as well. Absolute Legends is going to call a good game, and we're going to the next game, guys. Game 2 coming up in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with this best of 3 in the playoff series of Navi versus Absolute Legends. They're going to take off the racks probably. The good games are called. They are disconnecting though. But wow, really, really well played by by Navi there, just winning all their lanes and then taking an easy tower advantage, despite the fact that Absolute Legends had by far the better pushing heroes. That was really well played. Alright, everybody is backing out, so we're going to do the same. And thanks for watching on YouTube, guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye.